let's go to pages 84 and 85.
And 86 and 87 and 88.
Oh, hey, that's good. We can keep on going. 10 and 11 just kind of reiterate the power of our inventory process and the discoveries that we find in my experience. Yes. And so, Paul, I'm gonna start with this thought brings us to step 10.
Yes.
Okay, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory and continue to set right any new mistakes as we go along. We vigorously commenced this way of living as we cleaned up the past. We have entered the world of the spirit. Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. This is not an overnight matter. It should continue for our lifetime. Continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. When these crop up, we ask God at once to remove them. We discuss them with someone immediately and make amends quickly if we have harmed anyone. Then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Love and tolerance of others is our code, and we have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. For by this time sanity will have returned. We will seldom be interested in liquor. If tempted, we recoil from it as from a hot flame. We react sanely and normally, and we find that this has happened automatically. We will see that our new attitude towards liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. It just comes. That is the miracle of it. We're not fighting it. Neither are we avoiding temptation. We feel as though we had been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We have not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. It does not exist for us. We are neither cocky nor are we afraid. That is our experience. That is how we react so long as we keep in fit spiritual condition. It is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. We're headed for trouble if we do, for alcoholism is a subtle foe. We're not cured of alcoholism. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all our activities. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. We can exercise our willpower along this line all we wish. It is the proper use of the will. That's it.
I just thought you may be taking a breath for the next.
Oh, I can do that, but I think that's enough for this morning.
All right, thank you. Well, obviously, if you've been introduced to this book, the working steps are 4 through 9. And now we're transitioning into the maintenance steps, which is 10, 11, and 12. So what are the maintenance steps? The maintenance steps are the maintenance of the spiritual condition that has been produced by doing the program. Yes. So like it says after, I think, step 12, before step 12, after having had a spiritual experience or a spiritual awakening from the effects of the steps, or the steps allowed an effect to happen. So we're entering the maintenance thing. And at this point, new to this world of the spirit, we have to keep looking for the other world that wants to come barging in all the time. And we have steps 6 and 7 to bring in that barging in from the other world and turning it over to the higher power. Yep. And let it do what it wants to do with it. So a lot of 6 and 7 gets triggered by our awareness of what we used to not be aware of. So we were not aware of what was defeating us. They stated a couple of times in the book, without knowing it, the person who's super selfish doesn't think so. You realize you can recognize an alcoholic. The alcoholic may take years to recognize it's an alcoholic. So there's some things going on that prevent us from seeing clearly, which I humbly believe is the parasitical takeover of the host, so to speak. The host has to be kept neutralized by the parasite, and it's found a great strategy. It convinces the host that it's the host. So we're listening to its view of life, and we call it our view of life. Yeah. And when it tells the truth about a resentment, which is, it says it's my resentment, we say it's our resentment, which it's not. Yeah. It is the parasite's resentment, if you want to look at it as a parasite. It's a parasitical movement. It's a good imaging. So the parasitical movement is explaining how it looks at life in our head. And so it says, I hate that person. Then we say, I hate that person. It says, this is my resentment. Then we call that resentment my resentment. But it isn't our resentment. It's a manifestation of self in one's life. So how could you own that when it's already owned by what has defeated you? Yeah, it's very clearly described on page 64. Very, very clearly described. We're going to be, by doing the inventory, one of the targets is to be convinced that self manifested in various ways is what has defeated us. How does it defeat us? Through its manifestations, but actually, how do those manifestations defeat us? We call them ours, really. Yeah. So if you've ever seen or had a rush of anger or something, a resentment come up, in the wild, the resentment cannot last that long. But when domesticated by calling it ours, it can go for 50 fucking years. Yes. We breathe a lot of life in these manifestations by calling them ours. Because what's suggesting all this shit doesn't have a life. The parasite basically is thriving off the host. Yeah. And for it to keep thriving off the host, it has to keep the host in a state of not knowing it, obviously. That's important, because if the host started to shake around and started to look around, it would see something that what has taken you over does not want you to see, which is that which has defeated you is not you. It's a foreign installment, however you want to image it. But how it really worked with me, a major turning point is when I saw the word self meant something foreign to me. Yeah. And then as soon as I saw the foreignness of its nature, the possibility of being free from it became available. And then life explained to me in a flash that I had been trying to be free as self most of my life. Yeah. So I was bonded to self, even concerning freedom, because my freedom is really from the bondage of self. I was trying to be free as the bondage of self. It didn't work, obviously. So uh, I love this statement here. We have entered the world of the spirit. Don't you, when you read the book, doesn't it sound, doesn't the descriptions of the solution change? Yeah. In the beginning, there's a lot to do. Yes. And then as you go along, you get done to by something. Yes. Something does something to you. Yeah. You're placed in a position of neutrality. It does not say you climbed the big mountain and arrived at a position of neutrality. It says the problem will not exist for you and without any thought and effort on your part. Wow. That sounds a solution completely uh, different than the solution of me having to do so much. So basically, I feel when you enter the world of the spirit, the solution starts expressing itself in your life like this. And it is the easiest off the way. There's no doubt about it. And so, what I used to have to do a lot of, because I did it a lot in the beginning, I don't have to do it now. I do not take that many inventories because I don't have that many resentments and I don't step on that many people's toes. Yes, I don't. So, and what's beautiful is when the head starts cooking up, I noticed it's from Chef Boardard by, that thing. It's from another chef. I recognize that, and I bring that little recipe to step 6 and 7. And I ask that higher power, which has struck me sober and introduced me to a way of life that keep me sober, to remove or reconfigure this shit. And so it does. Yeah. I do not tomorrow, no, it was yesterday, Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, the garbage truck comes, usually. Tuesday night, I don't, after I put out the garbage, I don't sit up all night looking for the garbage man. I have sort of faith that it's going to be taken away because it's been taken away quite a lot. Yeah, it's not like, fucking exotic faith. I just come to have faith because they deliver the goods or they pick up the shit. Yeah. So, in this sense, in that spirit, when you turn this stuff over to step 6 and 7, you've actually turned it over to this higher power. Yeah. You relinquish any ownership of it. You're just here. Here, you take it, you make it what you want, and I'm sure you'll tell me about it if I need to know. Really? That's basically it. Yeah. So, so if you bring stuff to 6 and 7, you may not have to do 8 or 9 much. Yeah, because 8 or 9 is usually after the effect, after the deed. 8 and 9 is how to clean up the deed. Yeah, but before the deed is 6 and 7. So 6 and 7 may not may make the after the mess maintenance unnecessary. Yes, do you see it? Instead of becoming masters of how to clean up a mess, we're not used to make a mess anymore. That's an advanced level of the spirit world. Yeah. That's an advanced level in the spirit world. Yeah. You recognize the problem before it becomes a problem. And you bring it over to the higher power because this program is not a self-reliance program. It's a reliance on a higher power program. Whatever you believe, but I humbly feel that something works in this life that isn't from me, so to speak. And I can either be driven by self or I can be driven by the higher power. Yeah. How I learned to be driven by the higher power was through the program. Yeah. That was like my student car. Yeah. I stayed sober, which was essential, And then I experimented in suggestions and principles, and I saw what worked, and I got pretty good at following the directions of this new driver. Yeah. So I have been driven by the higher power for 36 years. And let's say I was driven by the lower power for about 15 years. In those 15 years, I absolutely had no tread left on the tires. Yes. I was just, I was just fucking, I was just rolling very slowly down a hill of the bottom to another hill in the bottom. See, when you're going down, it can go way far. You think you've hit the bottom, but there's another bottom waiting. Yeah. So I'm a humble believer that there's an incredible clue in the book where it says we were driven by 100 forms of this shit. Yeah. I think we're driven quite a lot. Yeah. If we were driven by 100 forms, that would take some time. Yeah. If one thing drove us, maybe it would happen and you would not notice it. But if 100 things have gotten into us and drove us, how many more can be driving us? Thousands and thousands, yes? So we are that which is driven. It's what's driving us is the important thing. Yeah. What's going to get the best out of the Toyota? Yeah. And AA gives us just a simple, clear, black and white possibility. Either the driver is trusting the finite self, or the driver is the infinite. It's one or the other. As Jesus supposedly said, you can't serve two masters at the same time. Yeah, just that simple. So the program, we recognize the failure. We have lived the unmanageability caused by that which was trying to manage our life, because it doesn't have managerial skills. We've recognized all this. We've come to a moment of reckoning, step one. Yeah. Step two, our eyes start getting open and we realize something is doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. I hadn't been picked up for 8 weeks. It's amazing. Shit, I haven't drank in 8 weeks. First time in like 12 years. So, and then step three is making a decision, because we're not in control of our own life at that point. Yeah. So we don't turn our will and life over to the care of something else, because we can't. Something has us by the balls. Yeah. So we make a decision to turn our will and life over to the care of something else. And how we ask to get the power to do that is doing the action steps 4 through 9. Yeah. That gives us the oomph for this decision to be consummated. Yes. And then through this process, we enter another world, not the mental world where the problem resides. And that's where the playing God is going on. Yeah. We enter what we call the spirit world. Yeah. We have a new employer, and it is of the spirit. Yes. And it's going to take care of us, being all powerful. And what are the requirements for it to take care of us? Stay close to it. How can you be far from everywhere? You can't be far from this presence and perform his works well. They don't even give you a specific his works well. It's very vague. So basically, you've sealed the contract on your end. You're close to that which you can't be far from, and you're performing his works well. You're sober and everything like that. The guarantee is you're going to be taken care of. That's it. Has that come true for many of us? Yes, it's obvious. What else is in store for that? We get out of those basic fears, get out of the way, and now we understand the word serenity. We know peace. We start enjoying peace of mind. We feel a new power coming through, which is the new driver behind the wheel. Yeah? And then we learn we can face life successfully. I'm not ramming into a tree every fucking 3 miles. Yeah? Yes. So if I could look back, I'd be happy to see the new driver, because if I can feel the old driver and it fucking scares the bejesus out of me. Yeah. I do not want a day in my life run by that anymore. I don't. I've seen people go out after 20 years in 5 hours. Yes. They woke up, everything was fine. By 3 o'clock, they've had their first drink in 20 years. And by the weekend, they're fucked completely. Yeah. So, yeah, so I'm a real believer that there is a solution. I'm a real believer that the problem, the nature of the problem is foreign to us. So the solution is not how to be free as that which has defeated me, but being free from that which has defeated me. They're different, very, very different. I don't spend any time working on self. I don't. I'm not robbing cars. I'm not doing shit. It can fucking play its little police thief little scenario. Yeah. I don't try. I'm not making it better because I recognize it's got a nature like a snake. It's going to bite you sooner or later. Yeah. If you believe it's part of you, I just want to humbly say something to you. It believes it's all of you. Yeah. If you want to make an kumbaya with it and make it an amigo or a service animal, good luck. I just don't feel you can overcome its nature. Its nature is parasitical. Yeah. For it to win, you have to lose. It's just that simple. It doesn't see it any other way. So there you go. So, and here we're entering the maintenance phase to hopefully to culminate because you're going to have a spiritual awakening. You don't even have to know it. You'll find out about it later as life changes. But you're going to have a spiritual awakening if we do what we do here. Yeah. And then step 12 is signing up to live the life of the AA agenda, which is to, help other people get sober and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And if you can't, limit your affairs for a while. Yeah. And there you go. You got a way of life. Yeah. You're set up, simple maintenance. If you are a spirit, don't you think that would be the highest form of spiritual maintenance? I would. I feel it. Yeah. I don't believe you got to lift spiritual weights. That comes from the head. I believe your nature is of spirit. Yeah. I do not believe your nature is completely a thing or a mental activity. Yeah. I just don't. So here you go. So this is page 84, 85. Now, doesn't this sound, these effects sound like they're from an incredible solution? Yeah. We will be seldom be interested in liquor. If tempted, we recoil from it from a hot flame. We react sanely and normally. Wow. This is basically about the insanity that precedes the first drink. Yeah. So we're not in a program to stop drinking. We're in a program, there's no starting drinking. Yeah. You just don't start. And for the rest, a day at a time, and it can end up the rest of your life. You just don't start. It's just the way it goes. Not because you're gritting your teeth, because you've lost interest in it. You've been convinced of the futility of trying to get out of self. Yeah, I feel. So we have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. Obviously, you never fought alcohol. It's alcoholism. Yeah. I don't see you fighting in aisle 3 at Safeway with a bottle of vodka. You know what I mean? I'm tangling with a bottle of vodka. No, it's ism. It's the ism. It's the activity of the head, alcoholism. We will seldom be interested in liquor. That's for sure. This was one of the amazing effects because I didn't get sober in AA. I got struck sober and I was introduced to AA that night so I could stay sober. But I got struck sober. And from that point on, I've never had a strong feeling or thought to drink or use. That's unbelievable. Now, to me, that's a solution. Yeah. Some of the shit they call solutions here, I don't see as solutions. Yeah. But some of the solutions I have found in recovery are solutions from a world of spirit, I feel. I really do. And if tempted, we recoil from it as from a hot flame. We react sanely and normally, and we will find that this has happened automatically. Wow. Did you ever find cocaine? Did you ever get cocaine and it happened automatically? No, it was a lot of kissing. You had to wait a while, fucking shit like that. It's like, oh, I wanted a cocaine and it happened automatically. No, it didn't happen automatically. It was a fucking drag when you had no money and you had to convince someone else. But here he goes. We will find that this has happened automatically. We will see, in other words, you will become aware of. The head likes to keep you unaware. You're going to become aware of what? We will see that our new attitude toward liquor has been given us. That sounds like a description of a gift, yes? Not something through meritocracy or something you earned. You were given this. We will see, we will become aware that our new attitude toward liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. Probably a lot of thought and effort against it on our part. Yeah. And if any thought or effort came up, it was probably against this event that happened automatically, I would say. There would be a lot of triggering of a lot of thought or effort to probably fuck with this automatic condition. That is the miracle of it. Wow. It just, without any thought or effort on our part, it just comes. That is the miracle of it. You're now, I humbly feel, being described, you're now hearing a description that comes from another world. This solution and its description is from another world. This does not sound like a description in this world. It doesn't, of a solution. Usually you have to pay for it. You got to sign up, you subscribe. Have you ever talked to a Comcast, like a phone company or a internet company? Do their solutions sound like a solution? When they fuck up, you in a sense get blamed. It's a wild fucking thing. Yeah. It's just incredible. I've gone to these offices at once, and they would uh, give me my solutions, tailor-made from them as the problem. And I would say, that doesn't sound like a solution to me. Yeah. Well, a lot of the solutions here don't sound like a solution to me, but this feels like a solution. Yeah. It has such a fucking power. So that is the miracle of it. We are not fighting it, neither are we avoiding temptation. Don't you see? This description of the solution has very little interest in self. There's not even, it's like 0.5%, maybe. It's as if you had nothing to do with any of this. Yeah. We feel as though we had been placed. This is incredible, really. That is the miracle of it. We are not fighting it, neither are we avoiding temptation. Isn't that the only two ways we used to know? Fighting it and trying to avoid temptation. They were not a solution, were they? Fighting it and avoiding temptation was not a solution. It was a solution in the world of the fucking problem. That is the miracle of it. We are not fighting it, neither we are avoiding temptation. We feel as though we had been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. You're under the contract of the third step. You feel like you may not know it, but something in you does. and it feels like it's safe and it's taken care of because the higher power is fulfilling the contract. Yeah. You're going to be taken care of. We feel as though we had been placed. The head would love to describe it as it climbed up and got somewhere and did it, but it was more like those things at the carnivals when they have the thing of all these cheap furry toys and a crane comes down. Yeah. And then the crane picks it up and takes it out and places it somewhere else. This is sort of what it's like. Yeah. You get plucked out of your misery and dropped into something else. What's the only, I don't know, the natural reaction to that is honor, gratitude, joy, relief. Yeah. We feel as though we had been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. Wasn't that what the head was meant to provide by our reliance on it? Didn't we rely on the head and we asked for maybe a couple of things, and one of them would be to feel safe and protected? Do you ever feel fucking safe and protected listening to your head? It promised, never delivered the goods. You've now been introduced to something that delivers the goods. We have not even sworn off. That's not necessary at all. Instead, the problem has been removed. Incredible. The last time I shared with this, I have difficulty over the years with sinuses. I mean, I'm so super surprised considering I poured like 30 pounds of cocaine up those things, but yeah, have very difficult time. And so someone sent me the thing they think is works the best. So I look at the box and the first thing I read, it masks the symptoms. In other words, nothing's actually changing. You're just going to be not knowing it. That to me is not a solution. It isn't. Yeah. I mean, if you're really fucked, you'll take it. But if there's other options, this does not fall under the category of a solution to me. Something that masks the symptoms. Doesn't change anything. Yeah. Just sorts of makes you oblivious to it. Yeah. So now it's just incredible, man. We have not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. Wow. My mother wanted that problem removed. My mother. Yeah. Her whole church congregation prayed for that problem to be removed. Yeah. She sent me St. Christopher medals and St. Jude medals with the hopes that St. Christopher and St. Jude's spirit would save my ass. Yeah. The state wanted me to stop. They did. They punished me quite a lot. And they'd hope that punishment would be a solution. It wasn't. Yeah. All these things, other people who loved me. I wanted it to stop. Nothing seemed to do it, but something did. Yeah. And I don't think this something that did it is of this world. I do not think. Because it said there's no human power is going to relieve you of this situation. And I humbly believe no human power could have relieved me of it. And something did. And I believe that's what they call the spirit, the world of spirit. Yes? The world of spirit has true solutions. And this is why I think when they discovered the world of spirit, they made that statement, there is a solution. Yeah? Because the world of spirit has solutions. Yeah? No masking symptoms. Yeah? But having something so terribly influential in your life removed is unbelievable. Yes? Unbelievable, I feel. So it does not exist for us. We are neither cocky nor are we afraid. That is our experience. This is how we react so long as we keep in fit spiritual condition. I humbly believe the spiritual condition is fit. I don't think the spiritual condition has to go to a gym to stay in fit spiritual condition. What I believe is the mental condition needs to stay in a fit diminishment. Yeah. So in the loss of interest in self is allows the mental fitness to weaken, so the spiritual fitness is seen in its actually lofty position, which is a solution. A mental problem does not usually find a mental solution. A mental problem needs a spiritual solution. Yes. And I believe we are of spirit. So for all intents and purposes right now, right then I was the problem, and right now I'm the solution. Yeah. It was all about the driver, tell you the truth. Yeah. Because I'm going to be driven no matter what. If you think you're an isolated island, it's all bogus, all bogus. We're all programmed. We respond or react. Basically, you could follow a reaction and see the cause of it all. We're talking about, oh, I did this, I did that. You were driven to do most shit, yeah. And basically, there was a deep recognition of this. We know very well what it's like to be driven by the lower power. I hope you get introduced to being driven by the higher power. And this is the AA program, literally. Yeah. So, and this is our step 10 to continue to look for what has defeated us, literally. Because if you don't see it, you're going to look from the defeat. Yeah. If you don't see it, you're going to look from the defeat. And then the solution, the quality of the solution after the defeat isn't like the solution. It isn't. Yeah. It's watered down a little bit. Look at what's happening now in our society. In a way, we've given up and we're just looking for less harm. Yeah. There's just so many rehabs. It's just insane, really. I remember it blows my mind. I walked into a street clinic to do a talk there in the East Coast 2 years or so ago. And, as you walk in the room, I used to remember there'd be a little glass thing with a fire alarm. Now they have Narcan. Yeah. So you can break the glass and save the person. That's great. But what about what's bringing that person to that point? Yeah. I mean, we look at the toenails of the elephant but we don't see the elephant in the room. Yeah. So there is a solution. AA doesn't bend that to fit you. The solution is not harm reduction. That could be a product of it, but the solution is being free from the bondage of self a day at a time. Yeah. Yeah. Humbly. That's how I feel. And no one's going to convince me otherwise. I've been a member just as anyone else has been a member here for 36 years. I know what it's like to be under the influence of the higher power. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm telling you, the higher power and the power itself is completely different than the lower power. Completely. Yeah. It's like an electric car and a motor car. When I stop at a light, I have an electric car. I could beat a Ferrari off the line because electricity just is quicker than fuel. Yes. Look at what the head has to yap a lot, constantly, constantly, constantly yapping. Yeah. Because it can't go. It has to convince us to go. It can't go. Why do you think it spends so much time talking to you? It's trying to convince you of something. A lot of things. Yes? Does the truth talk to you, or do you sense the truth? It doesn't have to fucking lay out its case. It's the truth. It stands alone. Either you find it or you don't, but it's there or here. Yeah? The head is unbelievable. Yeah. The head is unbelievable, literally. So, yeah, there is a solution. Here you go.
Thanks, Paul. That's this freedom is amazing. And what I enjoy most about being a part of this this whole project that of us gathering here is because you're able to put words into the spiritual message. You have an uncanny ability to paint the picture of the experience of awakening to the truth that we have been in that bondage of self.
Well, honey, if that's the case, then the appropriate thing is to share it.
You got it,
There
kid,
you go.
and you do it well.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's really the only point of me being here is to share it. That's all, and to have you
Exactly.
share, come back. Yes, yeah,
And I get the privilege to be able to continue sharing what you've shared, and further carry the message, just like what the direction that we're given in our 12th step.
definitely, honey. That's the hope all along, honey.
You got it.
Spread like a spiritual wildfire. Yeah. Yes, I do. Am I have any dog in the outcome business? No, but this is, yeah, this was a hope. And this is why it's been a real blessing to have this platform because we can say single pointed. Yes.
Hmm.
Have to take a lot of stuff into considerations because we make a very clear declaration. This is not an AA meeting. So we're not, yes. And so we can just share as members of recovery uh, what members of recovery have noticed and see if another member of recovery will see it the same way. Yes. And so there you go.
Well, and this brings the spirit of the fellowship into the fellowship of the spirit. This is the bond that we're able to carry the message directly into the AA uh, uh, community, the AA meetings themselves.
Yes.
And what's amazing to me is that this awareness, this realization of the defeat of by the bondage of self, that itself that defeats us, or that bondage, is what is attaching us to the problem rather than allowing the solution. It's accepted in the present. This is my experience. It's accepted in the prisons and in the mental hospitals more than it's accepted in regular meetings. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. You'll be amazed a lot around that. Yeah. So
You,
it's not surprising. It's amazing.
Ryan has his hand up. Ryan, do you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. Thank you,
You
Paul.
bet.
I'm very grateful to have found your videos and your message. It really resonates with me. I just I suppose I'm getting a bit confused, or maybe not confused. I just like to know the distinction between the parasite, which you call alcoholism, and self. From my understanding, alcoholism is the mental craving and the allergy, and then maybe self is. But yeah, I'm getting a bit confused there. Maybe, yeah, some
Well,
clarification.
alcoholism is, there would be no alcoholism without the idea of self. Yes. So alcoholism grows in the petri dish of self. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And for some of us, it's grown absurdly and mutated. And we're called the real addicts and the real alcoholics. So, yes.
Hmm.
But without the to me, the original addiction is the head's addiction to the idea of self. Yeah. Yeah. And that wanting to get relief from that misunderstanding of its nature, thinking it's us, that's what set off all the other addictions. Yeah. So basically, most times when people get carried away drinking and stuff, they're trying to get out of themselves. Yeah. Or what they call themselves. They are. And self can't get out of self. This was said in the early years of recovery in the community because they had been observing just that they were trying to get out of self as self when they were drinking and now when they were in recovery. Yeah. So I feel that's the original addiction. It doesn't say in page 63 losing interest in drinking, it says losing interest in self. Yeah. So the drinking and stuff, that stuff obviously are secondary. It's the underlying causes and conditions. And the underlying causes and conditions of alcoholism is self. Yeah. So, yeah. So if you just follow it, there's just like when they describe fear in our community, most people see fear as a cause of a lot of things, like the biggest cause of a lot of things in their life. But in AA's view, fear is an effect of self-reliance. So if you read page 67, they ask us a question when we're getting ready to do the fear inventory. They say, why are you in so much fear today? Yeah. Isn't it because self-reliance has failed us? There you go. So the mother and father of fear is not fear itself, it's self-reliance. So when you lose interest in self, you're going to lose interest in mental fear, which is anxiety, mental anxiety. Yeah. Fear is a valid emotion, but the mental is tapped into it and is triggering the sense of fear by thought. Yeah. And the thoughts wouldn't trigger it unless there was faith in the thoughts. And faith in the thoughts is faith in self. Yes? The problem resides in the mind. So faith in the thoughts is faith in self, this idea of self. Yep. So here we go. So when you look at what drove you to drink and all these addictions, obviously they're never really successful, are they? Did you ever, one day I just thanked the cocaine god and I was completely satiated and thank you and I was free. No, it doesn't work that way because it's not hitting the target. Yes. The self has now become the one who's addicted to alcohol or drugs. Yeah. So that addiction hides itself in now the investigated addiction. Yeah. It's like Dracula going on vampire hunts. Yeah. It's a way of clothing from everyone, especially your head, that you're fucking Dracula. Yeah. So that's how I see it. So I don't believe alcoholism and self. I think alcoholism is extending the idea of self to an extreme level. Yeah. So most people who are alcoholics and addicts also have an extreme obsession with self. It goes hand in hand, yes? Yeah, yeah. So I would say the obsession with self is what we ask to be relieved of, because it's really the root, I feel. Yeah. If you can see it when something doesn't work, like drinking or drugs, then you'll try to, the head will drive into eating too much food, or whatever, tons of things. It's like just ready to leak out. It's just there. And it's just maybe being restrained. There's a solution that's on a different level than that. Yeah. You can be, and the solution is really a loss of interest in the problem. So you lose interest in self. And then all these solutions can show up, which weren't showing up because there was a lot of interest in self. Yeah. The water that you're hoping for, you're the dam to, so to speak. Yeah. You're playing the role of the dam and you're beseeching, why isn't the water coming? So it's good to get to, especially in time, what's the conception of something? Yeah, you much rather see the blueprints instead of having to live in the house. Yeah, yeah. So that's why it says we have to get to the exact nature of the wrong and the causes and conditions, because really that's where the spirit can really shift things. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's how I see it today. So I don't see alcoholism. I think alcoholism is just like a mutated expression of obsession with self. Yeah. It turns into like a certain type of tumor. And you know how many people are affected by the person who's playing the role of the infected. Oh, it's unbelievable. Like they say, it's a family disease and shit like that. It has an incredible, it's a contagion that that brings out a lot of times the worst in people. People who their great love and desire for something to be good about gets twisted, and they need to go to Codependency Anonymous or fucking Al-Anon, because the alcoholism will take advantage of those good traits in someone and bring them into an illness. Yes. Yes. Obviously, we've all seen it. So it grows on something, and then it grows as something. It's growing on us in a way without us knowing it. That's why I call it a parasitical movement. It doesn't have light of its own. It doesn't have life of its own, really. It's drawing from us without us knowing it. And when it does all this shit, it's camouflage, because we believe we did all this shit, which I am completely not into that view continuing. Yeah, where everyone is singing the glory of the great higher power, but taking all the blame of the effects of the lower power in their life. That to me is so dissonant, cognitively dissonant. It's not a little like trickle, it's a fucking chasm. People, oh, something's doing for me I can't do for myself. Gratitude, what great. They don't have any quality of that in looking at the lower power. This blows my fucking mind over and over again, that you would still claim to be the doer of the shit that you were driven to do like 40 years ago. And to have that, it's like paying an electric bill when you're off the grid. You're fucking paying the electric bill still. Something's using you for transportation. Yes. I humbly feel. So I think we're completely outmatched in the condition we are under the lower power. And we need to have an admittance of that to open ourselves up to the influence of the higher power. Yeah. Yeah. Because the lower power is playing God for all intents and purposes in us. Yeah. And if you don't believe you have faith, that's faith. Yeah. Faith is the power that's manifesting here is by faith. Yes. This is what faith healers do. There is no healer, there's faith. And the faith can come through. And therefore, but we always emphasized what it came through, which is the healer. But there is no healer but the faith. The faith is the healer. That's not the healer. Yes? Yes? Yeah. So there's been faith in the alcoholic thoughts taken to be ours, and those faith have driven us way past the point of drinking into fucking pitiful, incomprehensible, demoralized states. And we're not seeing the genesis of it. Yeah, we're taking the blame. It's like we gave ourselves into the cops because the driver drove us to the bank he robbed. We're in the prison cell as the driven. The driven can be driven anywhere. Yeah, it matters where you're driven to is based on the driver, not the driven. The driven will go anywhere. It can possibly. Where it's going to go is not based on the driven, it's based on the driver. It's either your head or the spirit, one or the other, in a sense. Yes, there may be other possibilities, but for this moment, this time, black and white. Trusting the infinite rather than trusting finite self. That's it. How do you trust finite self? The faith in the thoughts. That's really, you truly believe that this thing is giving you good, honest direction. It's fucking misleading you completely. We try to paint it with a broad brush just to notice it. You'll see it. Sometimes it just it leaves like a trail of slime, but you'll recognize it. And you bring that to 6 and 7 and let that fucking energy be reconfigured and put to be better use than it's being put to the parasites using it for fucking drilling another asshole in you. It's already drilled about 12. It's busily drilling another one. It could be put to better use. Yes. Like, how about the enjoyment of the day? How about contributing to other people's lives? I'm telling you, this is why people who have a job and there was an identification as a job, when they retire, they get into a lot of conditions because they were identified. Yeah. And now they have no purpose and they're like rudderless. Yeah. What greater purpose that we've been given is to be sober, so we're like we can be an example for others. Yeah, you don't know what people are thinking about you when you come into the meeting. Yeah, and you can see sometimes, well, I'm not getting any more out of them. Well, what are you putting in them? You can look at it that way. Yeah. I do not go to a meeting looking for anything. I don't. It's just, hey, if me sitting in a chair puts me to use, fucking great. Fantastic. I've realized the higher power has a much vaster view than I do. So who knows how I can be of use? Yes? Yeah. All right. Thank you. We have Eileen from Arizona. Come on in.
Hi, everybody. Eileen, alcoholic. Um, I wanted to.
You're not from Arizona, Eileen. I heard the alcoholic in there.
I'm
You're
from
from
Long
the,
Island, New York.
yeah, I recognize the kindred spirit.
Yes.
The alcoholic, that one shows you can't hide that. No.
Yeah, I hear yours. Okay, so the solution is the loss of interest in self. do you mean like the lower self, not the higher self, right? Were you talking
I
about?
don't call the higher self. So yeah, let's say the lower self.
Okay, so the lower self. And then how
I
do you,
don't think the lower has a cousin called the higher self. I don't think self has a higher cousin.
okay, so what I'm trying to understand is, I was told when I got into recovery, and it had like my life had to become important to me. It wasn't important to me when I was drinking and drugging. I didn't care about my health. I put myself in dangerous situations. So now I'm sober, and I try to get sleep, eat well. That is the interest that I have, but that's not. I'm trying to reconcile that with loss of self. Like,
Yes. Well, what will happen is you'll get into life, yes, has importance, not your life.
okay,
Yes. Yes. So when we come in, the condition, you got to work with the condition. So yeah, it's looking like your life has to be important to you, but really its life becomes important to you. Humbly. That's how it grew the way it grew here. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Of course, a lot of times the action figure has to be brought to a certain level of okayness and then get on to the other stuff at hand. Yeah. Yes. I needed a lot of corrections. My brakes sucked. Fucking transmission was fucked. Everything else I got worked on by the way of life and the principles. Yeah. And all the suggestions I heard and the community and the support and the opportunities to be of service, which was a great gift. All of that work to better or to bring back the action figure to a certain condition. Yeah. My concerns are different mostly than that now. Yeah. I'm not trying to make myself behave. I behave now. I'm not trying to become a nicer person. I'm okay. Yeah. I'm not trying. Uh, I think the Toyota was brought to a certain level of workability I'm happy with. I'm not trying to become a Rolls Royce of the Toyotas. Yeah. And then I much rather entertain other possibilities like peace of mind and serenity. I like feeling the new power flow in. I like sensing the conscious presence of this thing that uh, struck me sober. I like that a lot. Yeah. Try to maintain a certain physical condition so that still has a quality of living. Yeah, do the best I can, learn things along the way to keep it somewhat maintained. If it gets bad, I'll have to get other outside help, but I don't have to. And then basically, there's not much thought to it anymore. I much rather just have a lot of empty space. Yeah, yeah. But this is just me. So yes, first you may have to appreciate something, but you're going to grow. The my in your life is going to weaken for sure. So your life is going to you're going to see it as life itself. It's this owning is really a way of disassociating from the flow, I feel. Yeah. Like my life is any different than other people's lives, or my life is a more special agenda to deal with than other people's lives. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to get into a somewhat good working condition, which I am. I'm trying to have a physical fit condition. So there's a maintenance program for that. I don't have a maintenance program for a spiritual condition. I believe we're spirit. I do. And spirit is conditions itself. It's not like you have to have a shampoo and a conditioner. I don't see spirit as being unfit or fit. That's all mental. Mental is unfit or fit. Spirit doesn't, you can't measure spirit by fitness or unfitness. I do not believe you have spiritual malady. I do not believe that statement. I do not believe the spirit has any malady or any aberrations or any effects. These are mental. There's mental maladies. Yeah. Yeah. To a lot of people, when I was out there was just the body and the head. Yeah. This idea of spirit was be something the head may want to be interested in or not, but it was really body, head. Yeah. Spirit, what? Spirit, can I get some? Do I need some? How can I maintain some? And then through this program, the hierarchy changed. It's spirit, mind, body. It's not body, mind, spirit. It's spirit, mind, body. Yes? I just don't. If you close your eyes, does that which is seeing stop? No. No. Close your eyes. The same buzz that you have while looking is still there. You're awake. There's no border. This is not awake. This is the telescope never sees the stars, ever. What you're looking through is not that which is looking. What's looking is spirit. What it's looking through is a physical telescope, so to speak. Yeah. The telescope isn't seeing shit. It allows seeing, but it can't see. Yeah. That's why you only hear about shit. The head just narrates and talks. Yeah. It just talks ad nauseum. It doesn't see shit. It gets the news and then it changes the news, basically. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, I'm not believing in spirituality. I do not believe you manufacture your own misery. I do not believe you're the cause of you're the problem. I do not believe these things. I do not believe alcohol it's alcoholism. I don't believe a number of things in the book. This isn't a fucking like fundamentalist place. Yes? You read it, you just feel it, and you see what happens. You're not going to tell me I'm the cause of all the misery. I believe you're like a factory that can produce a lot of products. And the product line you're going to produce is who's running the factory. You cannot blame the machine that could make a wheelchair or a machine gun for the making of the machine gun instead of the wheelchair. You can't blame the machinery. You can't. It's the driver. Render unto Caesar's what Caesar's. Yeah. You should render unto the lower power what's the lower powers instead of claiming them to be you all day. That's the freedom. The freedom from the bondage is freedom from the past and freedom from the future as self. Yeah. So, yeah, whatever it worked. Yeah.
Is self different than ego? Is there a
Yeah.
distinction?
For me, yes.
You,
Because people talk about like they have an ego, don't they? Do you ever, I have an ego, I want to lose an ego. That feeling of having an ego and wanting to lose an ego is a feeling from self. Yes. I believe self is before the idea of ego. I do. I believe the ego is an objectification of self by self, literally. Yeah. Like Dracula describing a vampire. Go out and get rid of the ego. Self's going to have a field day. You can't believe what it's going to do without an ego. So yeah, that's it. But whatever works, I don't care. Whatever triggers that tune, yeah, that tune of relief, I don't care. All glory to it. Yeah. If you want to look at it as an ego, just hopefully the only way it really worked for me was looking at it as foreign to me. Because I was trying to be free as it. That was one of the heaviest chains of the bondage of self. I wanted freedom, but I thought I wanted freedom as that which was causing me not to be free. I had no idea of that until I did. And I've never not seen it since. I didn't see it to a point, and I've never not seen it since that point. Never, never. But I hadn't seen it until a point. Never saw it until I did. Hallelujah. Eh? Yeah. It was one of the humble hopes and aspirations for these talks. Yeah. To trigger the same recognition that it's not you. It just set everything up. It was, I had all the dominoes were all there, but it would always stop because there was one domino turned, it wasn't right. And it was an important domino, like the exact nature of the wrong. And so once that was corrected, the whole thing went down, and a lot was explained by all the dominoes falling in sync. A lot was explained. Yeah. Yeah. It was just that one point. That's why we harp on it. Yeah. If something else worked, I would harp on that. But this was a turning point. I believe if you don't see this, you're looking from it. And if you're looking from it, you're looking for freedom for it. You're going to be caught in self, can't get out of self, because you'll be doing exactly that. You're trying to get out of self as self. Yeah. I'm not happy about it. I just don't, it just seems that's the case. Yeah. Yeah. And we haven't moved on from this point. I swear, if you hear something from 20 years ago from Zen Bislap, it's quite similar to what we're saying now, because nothing's fucking changed. Yeah. The problem.
Oh, do we have time? Saraswati has her hand up. Do we have time for that?
Yes, of course. If any you want to stay, I'm here. I have a lot of important engagements to keep right now. I'm not going anywhere.
You're right here and now, huh?
Yeah, I don't have a giant schedule for the day. No. All right, Saraswati.
Paul, how you doing?
Good, good.
Okay, so I was thinking about the heart space, and I guess what I was thinking about, or with regard to the message, is, well, maybe I'll just read it. It's a little bit easier. I'll just a short paragraph, and this is just my own musings, and that's why I bring it here. Is the heart a bridge to the infinite? The head, or my head, can't let the pain land. It tries to deflect the pain, but I feel like my heart can let the pain land. The heart can let the pain land because it's the bridge. It can hold, well, I don't need to share that. So my question is, or what I'm wondering is, do the heart practices help me lose interest in the action figure? And then building on that, coming out of denial, is there a role for having compassion for myself in all that I've been through? It feels meaningful to me and self-forgiving. It feels healing, releasing, allowing, but it doesn't feel disinterested. It feels like it's a process.
Well, it's interest well directed.
Okay, it feels like it's a process towards becoming less interested.
You've answered all your own questions. Yeah. We just read a part of a page where it says this will, or this interest put in the right hands is going to be useful. So yes, this is useful interest. Yeah.
So the heart is not, when I'm feeling in my heart space, I don't feel like that's self. I don't feel like, but then I'm thinking, okay, self and then head, then that's sort of dual.
Well, stop there and just say you don't feel like itself. Don't go to the then. Yeah. It's just not my language, honey. I don't see it that way, a heart space. But my language can fit me just as your language fits you. So, yeah. And it seems to be working. Just let it keep working.
Okay.
Yeah. You've said it. You said it's working while you were asking the question, is it working? You said it was, and it is. So yeah. I mean, this is part of the artistry of this place. You can these possibilities can be put into a different cadence. You can sing it, you can chant it, you can strum it, you can acoustic it, you can electric it, you can silent it, whatever. And this is part of the joy. Yeah. Yeah. I can only speak from the streets of Long Island. That's all. I didn't fall into the heart thing. That doesn't get me. That kind of language. That's all. But we're all speaking basically of the same thing in a way. And like my grandmother would sing lullabies in Gaelic. Yes. Did I understand the words? No. But the way it sounded put me to sleep. But I never knew what she was saying, but I did know what she was saying. Yeah. So this is what it's like. So you answered all the questions you were going to ask me for yourself. There you go.
Well, that's good news. I guess
Yeah.
when I think about languaging we do use here, I believe is, feeling the presence or the loving presence, as a result of a group experience or group conscience. And so maybe that's a way I'm talking about the heart space when there's something that's a different frequency coming through. Yeah, so I'll pause there.
Yes. You know what's beautiful, honey? You speaking of the heart space sounds incredible. Yeah. If I started speaking it, it would be like a satire. I'm just seriously. So from you, you're like the perfect expression of it. You are. It works. I can see it. Now, if I said it, it would be a little. So they're basically, you got to stick with what works from where you are. Yeah. But I mean, I could sit and listen to you speak from the heart space the whole day. It'd be nice. Now, for me, it would, I don't know if I could keep a straight face, literally, because I'm just, a little punk from fucking Long Island, really, basically. I've been civilized to a certain level, but I haven't been refined whatsoever. There's not much refinement in my approach. So,
Well, I've been very impressed, or it's made a big impression on me, this idea of Ramanas of sharing the message without compassion, or something like that. It's my own
well,
version
you're
of
at the right place then.
right. Well, this is what I'm saying, and then I think I feel like you do that so well, and really. But then there's also these moments that are very soft, that we all feel the loving presence. And
Yes, yeah.
that's
I know.
another level. You may not name it, but it's here.
Oh, I know, honey. I know it all. It's a little. The puppet has a sense of the strings that's being pulled. Yes, the puppet's familiar with the stuff, familiar with the show. But yeah, it's great. So remember, yeah, usually a lot of times a person's question, they have the answer already. Yeah. What's working is working. Yeah. Now, will it work? You may get off that horse. Yeah. This is sometimes musical chairs. As long as the melody's playing, yeah, you're walking around, and when it stops, you sit, and you may not sit in the same chair. Musical chairs, that the seat assignment can change. Yeah. And so, uh, yeah. But right now, you have a lovely seat assignment. You're performing great as it, and we all have our own seat assignment, and we're doing what we're doing. And yeah, there's an underlying music that never stops that we're hearing here now. And then in life, there's the music stops, and things may change. Yeah, you may see me with longer hair and a robe and loving gaze and fucking singing, strumming something from the heart. It could happen. Yeah. You know what I
Well,
mean? I'd have to try to subscribe to a new accent. Yeah. To
well,
change.
I can say that when you've described when you're when that cactus blooms for one day in your yard, that's what I feel you're talking from.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, the cactus is amazing. Those Yeah,
It's
because see, people believe uh, there needs to be a huge, uh, if there's a huge production, it should last longer, but it doesn't really. There's so many beautiful things that only happen in a second, and they don't have much of a life. And I don't know how the greatest stuff, like they said, you came in with nothing and you're leaving with nothing. Yeah,
Mhm,
it's a nice attitude to have in a sense. Emptiness is the way I go in this space. Yeah,
mhm.
I'm more into that idea that yeah, emptiness has yeah, whatever. That's on for another day. But yeah, I'm yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you. Oh, all right. We'll get Elvis. You want to stick around? We're going on. All right. Come on, Elvis. Nice to see you from the
Hello,
Netherlands.
everybody. Hi, Paul. Nice to see you. I'm really glad to be here and listening. And probably I got my answer also. But let's see the question. Like, if if the goal is to lose the interest of the self, why am I interested in the sobriety? Because I guess the self wants to be sober. But if I lose the interest of the self, then I lose the interest of the sobriety. And like I feel
Oh,
that
oh,
it's a
no, you
good.
won't. No, you won't. No. See, that's what it says. If you lose interest in me, you're going to lose interest. Oh, no, it won't. It won't go the way it has mapped out.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
because like I'm thinking about it and I see how the self thinks about it, but I feel it's the right way, but I can't explain it. I just feel that the
Stick with the
sobriety is the
feeling.
right way. Yeah,
Go with the feeling. See, you just explained two expressions from two different drivers. So the feel is coming from one aspect of the driver, which I would say the higher power. The other, talking, grappling, is the lower power. And you start recognizing it, yes? And then you'll observe that you seem to be leaning one way more than you used to lean that way. And you're leaning less going to the lower power. Yeah. So now you're in the motion of perhaps there's a better way. Yeah.
yeah,
See?
that's great. That's simple.
Before the thinking would override the feeling. Now the way you're sharing is the feelings overriding the thinking. There you go. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I don't mean feeling like, oh, I mean feeling a sense like in your gut, or Saraswati would be like the heart. But for me, I like the gut. So there's a sense, and you start a little movement, you go with that sense and look at the results. They're good. And then hope you're now learning how to go a better way or a different way. That's what happens. This is called facing life successfully. Yeah. Yeah. And then something happens, you pick it up, and there's a message in there. And then that part of the going on the trail, there's messages on the trail. You pick up the next one, it's okay, and you just keep going. Yes. That's what it said in the reading. It may be the rest of your life, a day at a time. More will be revealed. Yeah, yeah. I'm not getting anything. Boom, something falls. You pick it up. Oh, exactly. Oh, it could either be this way or that, and then it appears in a completely different way. And oh, thank you. Once again, I've been proven wrong. And after a while, you suspend this faith in the lack of judgment, and now you just have faith in suspense. Yeah. And then you learn anew. You learn anew, not by constant yapping, but by recognition of what works and what doesn't work. And you come to some fucking honest assessments. Yeah. This doesn't work. If you want to continue, it's no fucking huge deal, but it probably doesn't work. So yeah, your whole attitude and outlook on your life is going to change. Yeah, it is. You're going to have a new attitude and outlook on how you observe yourself. You're just going to go, what was, you know, cause for punishment, you'll be fucking released on your own recognizance. You may not be as important as we think we are. Uh, Loss of interest is a many splendid thing. It is. There's a lot of surprises in loss of interest. A lot of surprises. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, follow your gut, bro, if you can. You see, you explained it perfectly. The thoughts are there. They're saying one way in a sense, or the feeling. I want to just go with the feeling. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
The
Thank
head
you.
loves to use philosophy against the point of the philosophy. Yeah. So we'll use the philosophy itself against the point of the philosophy. The head. Yeah. It does a lot of mind fucking with people in non-duality. A lot of mind fucking. Really, a lot. So yes, you got to have something to rely on. And that which you're relying on may come through the gut for you. Yeah. So follow that gut. For Saraswati's the heart. Follow that heart. From someone else, it's emptiness. Follow that emptiness. Yes. Your mail slot may not be huge, but there'll be a mail slot, and you'll start getting fucking messages. You're getting it through the feeling. Go with it. Yes, yes. This is the conscious. Something is gonna. It says in our book, in Recovery, this power is going to constantly reveal more shit to us. Yeah. There's stuff going in the mail slot all the time. Yeah. And then you can recognize by the new mail slots, you'll recognize the old mail slot, which is all fucking advertising, all fucking propaganda. You will. And maybe you'll be curious and read it, but you'll make a skit out of it. Like it'll be a comedy show instead of newsflash, you're fucked. Newsflash, you'll never be loved. Yeah. Yes, it is. So you're in a process, bro. I'm happy to see you. Yeah, yeah. The head will say, look this way. Just keep looking this way. Yeah, yeah. Don't get up.
Cool.
Stay on the operating table, brother. Get into the habit of being sober. Then you can have a lot of problems, and they won't be that big of a problem. Yeah, you can. Problems will not destroy you. You'll have them, but this problem will be neutered. Yes, and if you are like me, it's essential this gets neutered. It's essential. Yeah, it is essential. Yeah. Yeah. So first things first, bro. Yep.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to take off now soon.
This has been a fun adventure. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, it's always an adventure, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know what I would do without it, really. It's like lifeblood for me. It's like I'm in a senior citizen home and I get a pint of blood 5 times a week. I mean, really, if you've thought about in the mental logic, it's like you're like a marathon runner in a closet. Yeah, you got to get out. You got to entertain other possibilities. It wants you to be in a very small little world. It's fucking all about you. It's way too much.
This is becoming free range, isn't it?
Oh, it's past that. Yes, free range. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Well, if you wake up in the morning and the gate is open, you can go anywhere. Yeah. If your whole day is about opening the gate, yes. But in our case, the gate's open, free range. Great. Yeah. You may not go anywhere and the gate's open. Yeah. Yeah. Just because the gate's open doesn't mean you have to go in, go out. You're just there. Yeah. It's cool. All right. Thank you. Hey, Mickey, great job today. And
Thanks, Paul. Love ya.
Yes. Mark, nice to see you. Have I met you before?
No, you haven't, but I've met you 1,000 times. I've been watching you for about 10 years, 30 years on the spiritual circuit, just fucking exhausted with it. And your message just hits home so much. And, you know, I don't know, it's beginning to land and it's a beautiful thing. I'm 21 years sober, but the fucking spiritual game, wow, that's a long game.
Yeah. All right, good, bro. Well, welcome. Nice to see you. Yes. I have to tell you, you're a lifetime member of Zen Bitch Lab, knowing it or not. Yes. All right. Ryan O'Connor. I should have sang, I'll sing to you in Gaelic, my friend. Yes. The bones will pick it up. And what's going to broadcast is the potatoes. Rico Cruz. Nice to see you, Rico. Steve C. in San Diego. Walter?
When are you coming down this way?
I'll be there the 25th. We're gonna have a meeting at the house down there in Joshua Tree.
25th, cool.
Yeah, because we'll do the 1 hour Zoom and we'll have live people there. Because we're gonna have 9 people there already.
Okay, I'll try to make sure I come.
I'll let you know. I'll send you, we'll put it on the website. I mean on
Okay.
the chat at the meeting.
Okay,
The address. But yeah, we got a place and we'll be there. We'll drive down Friday and we'll be there till Monday. So, but Saturday, we're not having people over because I said too much the last time. And the people, Amelia, we couldn't do it. But we definitely can have the meeting, come for the meeting and we'll eat and shit like that.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned you're going to have live people there. Do you ever have dead people at your events?
I wish, yes. Yeah.
Sixth Sense.
They're the best donated. They're the best. They donate the most, the dead people. Yeah. Yeah. I have about 10 dead people. I get their security checks.
So
What?
that's where my mom's check is going.
You were
Okay.
a non-existent thing. What? What? All right. Okay. So Vlad, my main man, I'll be seeing Vlad shortly. He's coming over from Portugal. Yep. Looking forward to it, bro. Joseph, as always, our man in Paris, in France. Miak, a nice place. She's sitting somewhere outside. Stephen Mack. Stephanie F. Nice to meet you, Stephanie. Saraswati. Dhruv. Always nice to see Dhruv. Rick
Are
Rowe.
you going to be on the East Coast anytime soon?
I may be against my will, yes. It looks like I have a commitment in April in Philadelphia for a recovery thing. So actually, I'm trying to avoid it because I don't want to say yes or no yet. I got to call him back after this meeting. So yeah, I'll be back there maybe earlier than I think, but we'll try to be there once or twice this year up in New Jersey. So yes, we'll be back and we'll announce things. This one in Philly, I'd probably only do I don't know how long it will be. All right, but it'll be in late April. All right, but we'll put it on the website. Rick Rowe, thank you for my sharing, my friend, last night. Fantastic. Appreciate it. Eric, nice to see you down in Vista. It's a nice day down there, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful here.
Hey, I like how you repurposed the carnival grabber metaphor.
Oh, yeah.
I was meaning like how the mind grabs to own things, but you used it as like grabbing from like nowhere to to anyway.
Yes.
There you
Oh,
go.
the same machinery in this dreaming can be put to a different purpose. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Rico Cruz, my main man. Nice to see you, bro.
Thank you, Paul, for all your love and service, man. We appreciate you.
Oh yeah, I appreciate everyone here, really very much. Thank you. So I'll see everyone soon. We'll be here tomorrow. No, Saturday. At 1. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Nikki, thank you for your love and service. I don't care what they say about you. I love you, baby.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Everybody.
all.